Welcome everyone to the Final Point Podcast. I am your host, Adriel, with my co-host Josh in the building today.
What up?
All right. Last we left you guys, trade deadlines just hit. People moved, teams got better, teams got worse.
Craziest trade deadline, right?
GMs are literally being held at gunpoint around the league. Um, People are asking for people's jobs. A bunch of crazy stuff has happened. And then we did catch we're fresh off of the Miami versus Boston game, the new look Miami Heat, but same old outcome Miami Heat. Let's go ahead and jump into that first since we just got
Really,
done with that. There's
not
not
much of
really
a
much.
game.
Yeah, there's really not much to talk about. Tyler Hero sat out today due to illness. Jaime Jaquez sat out to illness as well. Jalen Brown was out. You also had wow, I can't believe I forgot. Drew Holiday also sat out, guys. Did not play either today, and I believe Jason Tatum's been struggling with an injury, correct?
Uh,
Or he's
there's,
been dealing with it, not really struggling. You can't really say that.
I mean, he dropped 33 and yeah, I mean, he dropped 33 points. I don't think he's struggling. Is he playing through injury? Probably. But um, hey, let's first address the elephant in the room with today's game. Yeah, Hero was out. JB was out. Drew Holiday's out. So you can say it wasn't really a clear indication as to where this formal rivalry stands. Can we still call it a rivalry? I don't think it's a rivalry
No,
anymore. I think
it's a
that's
fresh start now. We're at a fresh start now. Those days
yeah.
are behind us, at least for the temporary time.
It wasn't much of a game today, but let's address the elephant in the room. Wiggins had a bad debut.
Yeah,
Given the drama surrounding the whole Jimmy Butler saga, and this has nothing to do. This is not Wiggins' fault, but Heat fans wanted a 30-point Wiggins night because that kind of lets you know, look, F Jimmy, he didn't want to be with us, but now we got Wiggins and we're
that's
fucking back, and
but
you're
my
not back.
yeah, I never understood the sentiment of that, where some Heat fans thought that he was gonna come in and just automatically drop 20 to 30 points. I was never expecting that. However, I was expecting a way better night than what happened tonight. I mean, he struggled from three. Um, didn't really even take any perimeter shots, just three pointers the entire game. Just couldn't get it going. The whole team couldn't go get it going. They were shooting 24% from three. Just awful 3-point shooting. Uh, I will say the first, I would say about the first 10 minutes of that game, where you kind of saw what potentially could happen with that Wiggins lineup, as with Davion Mitchell. Um, their defense and on-ball defense was perfect. Um, Everything just
what
really
what part of it was perfect? It was a blowout. What part of it was perfect to you?
well. That's what I mean. Those first 10 minutes, you could see the defense from that lineup, where it could be an elite defense. But once they made the guard substitution and they added Terry Rozier in, the game just went to a it just went downhill after that.
The One of the biggest problems that Miami Heat's gonna have when they go up against the Celtics. This is no different than when Heroes on the court. Miami, the Celtics are one of the best teams at matchup hunting, and unfortunately for the Heat, you guys have a lot of mismatches, and it's just not gonna. It's never gonna fare well with this current Miami Heat team versus this current Boston team. They're never gonna match up well. Jimmy gave you guys a chance because he's such a Swiss Army knife. He gave defenses different looks. I don't think Wiggins is that guy for you guys, man. And this is just one game. I don't want to, say that it's not going to work, but 11 points for Wiggins, this is not it. And we've been saying this already on this podcast that Bam needs to be way more aggressive than he is. I mean, Bam should be a 25-point a game scorer.
Yeah, he had a good night tonight, but it's just
That's
unfortunately
not a good night. That's what I'm saying. That's not a good night. I mean, let's pull up his stats here. He's not. Bam had 22 and 12. Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a quiet one because it was a blowout.
well
I mean,
that's my point here is that I think how this team is constructed, this team cannot score unless Tyler Hero's on the court. I just that they're a whole nother team. They've had their worst games. I mean, I know Tyler Hero hasn't been hurt that much this season, but the games that he hasn't played, it looks bad, really bad. They cannot score, and I think the difference is that when Tyler's on the court, uh, he requires a lot of attention now, which opens up the spots on everybody else. But I mean, against elite defenses like Boston or Cleveland, if Tyler Hero's not on the court, or what I mean, this team's gonna get smoked every about 9 times out of 10.
yeah. Listen, and you got to have more production out of Davion Mitchell, because at least the Heat are giving him green light, and the same thing goes for Wiggins. I mean, he was 3 for 12. So he
Yeah.
certainly shot the ball 2 for 8. I mean, he was letting it fly from three. Davion Mitchell was 0 for 4 from three, 2 for 8 from the field. So they got the green light. Maybe it was Boston's defense that they just couldn't get on tonight. But you got to have more production from the point guard position. Davion Mitchell has to score the ball more.
Yeah,
So
I would say right now Davion Mitchell over Terry any day, even if he scores 0 points. Um,
baby, can
that's
you
just
call
where
Nemo? Tell him I'm doing my podcast. Call
that's
Nemo. Tell him I'm doing my podcast.
that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. It's just and I want to go on the record and say that I think right now I and I know this is gonna be a hot take, but I think right now Hauser is better than Duncan Robinson for the money, for the money, the contract disparity. I'll take Hauser. Because Duncan doesn't give you everything he's supposed to give you. We talked about his defense was supposed to be better. That's not. We talked about he was supposed to be more aggressive off the dribble, creating his own shot. That's not happening. So all he really has is the shooting, and he's not even really doing that at a high clip.
Yeah, he's just not even getting played. I mean, he only played like 10 minutes this whole game. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if it's just figuring out the lineup. I'm not sure, and it's weird because every time Miami wins a game, it's usually with Duncan involved because he plays well with everyone else. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure why he's getting this. It's just been a recent clip where he's just not being played.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what's happening, dude. Like he should be for the money he's getting paid, he should be at least 15 points a game. Jacking up at least 6, 7 shots. Davion Mitchell shouldn't get up more threes than you.
Yeah. Terry right now is averaging way more minutes than Duncan Robinson, which I don't know how it's still a thing.
You guys are stuck with.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes I feel bad, but then I watch games like this one, or even the last game that they had against Brooklyn, where it's like I don't even feel bad at this point. It's just it is what it is. He's got to be benched. But I mean, like I said, there's not really much we could talk about from this game. Jason Tatum completely dominated tonight,
Jason
33
Tatum,
points, big
yeah,
third quarter. I
yeah,
mean,
he
what can you
just
say?
looks so dominant. He looks so comfortable. He's hitting his his stride in what I like to call uh the maybe the home stretch of the first half of the season going into All-Star break. You want to have stretches of games like this where you're going for 30, you're going for 25, and you're shooting efficiently. And Tatum is peaking right at the perfect time going into the All-Star break. um there was really no answer for him. You think you would put Bam on him and kind of slow him down a little bit, but again, they match up hunt. So even if Bam starts off on Tatum, screen and Bam is gone, and now you have someone else to deal with him. So just a overall good effort from the Celtics. The Heat fans must hate D White.
Oh, we hate him. Believe me, we hate him, and I hate him more than anyone.
Yo,
Can't stand that dude.
I mean, he didn't have a
Shout out
lot
to
of.
him though.
Yeah.
That's why I do like secretly kind of like him because I can see him wearing a Heat jersey one day. I just see it.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a Heat guy.
whatever. Yeah, I
He
mean,
is
I
literally
don't see it
what
happening, but
I'm just saying. He is what we would want for
yeah, no,
sure.
look, I mean, he's a plug and play dude. You can put him on any team, and he's gonna play his
Yeah,
role. And his defense is elite.
yeah, it is elite.
So I mean, I'm happy to have him as a third slash fourth option, because when KP's in the game, obviously he's number three. But you have nights where D White can be number three, D White can be number two, and that's what makes this team so good in the playoffs. Is you have uh, 7 game series, which most of the time they don't go to 7 games, but you have to have players like that can go for 20 on any given night.
Yeah, they're extremely deep.
Yeah, and we happen to have that luxury of having Drew Holiday, another one where he can have 20-point game on any given night. So I mean, Celtics look good. It wasn't much of a matchup, so I don't want to go too much off of this game, but he have a lot of problems to fix, and the Celtics just have to continue to be consistent.
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say about this game, Terry Rozier, the FBI should come and get you. Um, other than that, what I will say about the Celtics is that what I like about them the most is that I like to say instead of extremely deep, they have an extremely impactful lineup of players that they could just plug in. And yeah, they don't have to give you 20 or 30 points, but those 10 points are going to be the most important 10 points of the game. And they have a whole set of players that could do that night in and night out. Even with Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday missing from the lineup, it was like they didn't even miss a beat today. So
Tough,
props to the
man.
Boston Celtics. Miami Heat get better, lock in. Nextly, we're going to talk about Luka to the Lakers. Was the big trade made on the deadline. Nico is now on the hot seat as Maverick fans are chanting for his blood outside of the Mavericks arena. Understandably so. Unfortunately, they did have some success with the Anthony Davis lineup on opening day. However, he did get injured right after halftime. Um, so that's
It,
unfortunate.
God, listen. First of all, can we just discuss how dominant is Anthony Davis?
Yes.
Mav fans, please don't let this injury distract you from the fact that the trade was much more even than people want to admit, because it's Luka. He's 25, perennial, once in a lifetime generation. I get all that, but so was Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was that coming in. He was considered a once in a lifetime sort of player, and listen, it was a crazy first half for Anthony Davis. What are the odds of that he gets injured? But Matt fans should be happy what they have going forward because Anthony Davis is that guy.
Yeah,
When
that big lineup that they threw down seemed to show a lot of promise. You know, it just sucks that he got injured so early.
it does, man, I
It
didn't want
looks
to
like he
see
was gonna
that.
drop
Man.
40. It was exciting to watch that first half. It
And then
seemed like it.
he had the Matt fans like, I'm here. It's like,
Yes,
yes, this is what they needed. And then boom,
but I
non-contact
think,
injury are the
but
worst injuries.
for Mavs fans, I understand the hate because this is you could kind of think of it as if this was the Lakers back in the day and they just traded Kobe for, you know what I mean? Now, it's not that they don't feel like they didn't get value out of the trade. I think what hurt them the most was that the trade happened in the middle of the season and it was their best player, which is understandably so. That would piss off anyone. Any fan would. That's like if the Celtics were going to trade Jason Tatum for Shea. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, no,
Like
no, no. But
you're getting talent back, but it's too much of an impact in the middle of the season like that.
it's not the same. You see, we're not behind the scenes. We're not the training staff. We're not the coaching staff. We don't know what the problem was with Luca, but there was a problem with Luca.
Yeah, there must have been
Nico
something.
Harrison had a problem with Luca. Okay. The problem that I had with Luca as a fan, I hate that he didn't play defense. I hate it. I hated it when James Harden did it in Houston, high that high
Yep.
ball usage, right? That high usage rate that he had. I hate it when Trey Young was doing it in Atlanta, and he still kind of does it. I hate the high usage rate for any play. You shouldn't have one player shouldn't have the ball in their hands for that many possessions for that long. It should not happen. It's boring basketball, right? So my problem with Luca was he didn't play defense. And there were stretches where the Mavs looked better with Luca sitting down and Kyrie at the helm and Kyrie routing everything. That looked better to me. So listen, we don't know what Nico Harrison saw, but clearly there was some red flags there, and he didn't want to give up that 350 mil. He wasn't having it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and tonight is his debut. As he gets some warm ups done today, we see what we have in store here for the
He's so
Lakers and
good though,
Laker
man. I
fans
mean,
out there.
look at this dude. He's just, I mean, dude. NBA players are really, really good at basketball, man. I mean, this dude just knocking
He's
them down like nothing.
casually doing it too, just
Hey,
off the dribble, off balance.
do you think Nico loses his job if the Mavs have a early exit? First of all, is it this season or next season where we're really judging Nico Harris on? Because if they have an early exit from the playoffs this season, it's gonna be like, this may not work. And if
I
Anthony
think
Davis,
it's next season.
it has to be next season. We have to give him one.
Yeah, they need to get a training camp done. You know, like they got to get a whole summer in before I can like really judge something.
Yeah, I agree. We're not gonna know right now, but I think the Mavs won the trade short term. If Anthony Davis is healthy, long term, the Lakers are gonna get the right pieces around Luca. Hey, I read something today, man, which kind of like I was like, whoa. So they said that LeBron's team, and I don't know how much of rumors this is, but LeBron's team meaning his management team, the fucking agents and all that,
Yeah,
said that it's funny how the Lakers were willing to make all these moves for Luca, meaning giving up those picks, and they didn't want to do that with LeBron. They didn't want to make those moves to get a better team around LeBron these past 3 seasons. maximizing LeBron's
timeline.
right, and but they did that with Luca. So
That
that's I don't know, man.
yep. That sounds like also like a familiar situation we had here in South Beach. Very
True.
familiar. All right, well let's move on now to Fox to San Antonio. That was the other big signing out in the West. So we all kind of knew that, like we talked on the podcast, that this would probably be the best fit for him. And sure enough, it was the best fit for him. That first debut game, like 25 points on a big win with Wemby. This seems to be the duo for the future.
Perfect. Yo, bro, the fact that they didn't even give up none of their pieces just goes to show you how good that front office is for San Antonio. They didn't give up nothing for him. They literally just get to plug in De'Aaron Fox on the current team that they had, and that is huge.
That's it. It's a huge
I'm
upgrade.
always right. These trades, sometimes people judge these trades, but they don't judge how much the team gave up to get that player. That affects the outcome of this trade, right? You can't judge a trade that way. San Antonio kept all their pieces, and they added De'Aaron Fox. So this team is significantly better than they were before the trade. Significantly.
Yes, for sure. I mean, Fox starting lineup, and we did watch them roll out the Fox and Chris Paul backcourt, which was something I liked most of all about that. But yeah, I mean, you have a veteran, legendary player as Chris Paul to do to run the bench lineup, and then you have Fox on that front court with Wemby. I mean that they get a 3-and-D guy, and they are good to go. I mean,
well, listen. I was happy they didn't give up Castle in that
of
trade.
course, and that was a big contention
I know they asked for him.
the trade talks. Yeah,
they used to ask for him, and I'm happy they didn't because now Fox, Castle, and Wemby are going to be a formidable three going forward. I think Castle's going to be very special. We've talked about him before on this podcast. He's going to be very special. De'Aaron Fox is De'Aaron Fox. You get that player that can give you that clutch performance when you need it. And then it's fucking Wemby, right?
yep.
So this is only gonna go up from here for San Antonio. San Antonio is back. They are a team that I'd like to watch now. One of my league pass favorites. So I am excited to see what's gonna happen in San Antonio. They made the right moves.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I really thought Fox was going to the Miami Heat in the last hour, man. I was so happy he didn't go to the Miami Heat. Really would have bummed me out, man.
As much as let's just get into it. So Jimmy finally got traded at the golden hour.
Weird spot for Jimmy to end up at. Fucking Golden State. Who would have thought that, dude?
He originally did not want to go here, but he
Such
ended
a
up.
weird landing spot for him, man.
It is. I can say that I'm not a fan of seeing him in the blue and gold. It feels like a nightmare. I'm not a fan of it, but for the most part, he had a pretty good debut against the Chicago Bulls, scoring a nice 25 with Steph going off in the third for 34.
Hey, he actually tried. He tried.
Yeah,
that's
he
all
found
it was.
his joy.
He actually tried.
Yeah, he found his joy. It was the $122 million extension. That was all that was missing. I think Jimmy's going to be a good addition though to the Golden State Warriors. We did get Andrew Wiggins. We ended up staying with Davion Mitchell to the Heat, and along with Kyle Anderson, who I'm not a huge fan of.
I hate
But
Kyle Anderson. He's one of the worst players in the NBA.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never was and never will. He's on my team, and I don't know if I could root for him. I just don't. Not a fan. Not a fan of his game.
If Kyle Anderson wasn't almost 7 feet, he would be in China right now playing.
He's a good body to have out there.
The only thing that guy has is that he's that tall and he's coordinated, and he's more coordinated than most 6'11" people walking on Earth. but he has the slowest shot ever.
Yeah. I mean, he has the nickname Slow Mo.
I mean, what does this guy do?
Yeah.
He's just another big body you can have with somewhat of a high IQ because he does make plays, but very, very punchable face. Hate that guy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But I mean, I think it was a good trade for most of it for both teams. Both teams kind of got what they wanted. We also got well, we're ending up with a first round pick from them either way if they make the playoffs or not. So
No,
I
no, no,
think
you
this
did.
was yeah,
It, it was good considering the fact that you got to keep Davion Mitchell, which they needed a point guard, and I think he's gonna end up doing well. You got fucking Slow Mo, which is another body, which the Heat needed, and also the Heat got to keep all their young talent. You didn't let
hmm
Ware go. I'm sure they asked about him.
potentially.
I personally thought I thought that Jaquez should have been involved in a deal. I think Jaquez needs to be moved from Miami. I think he's hit a wall. Sometimes that happens with
Yeah,
players. They hit a wall. We're seeing the same thing out of P- Podemetsky up in on Golden State. His
yep,
trajectory was going up, and we saw him just hit a wall this season. So that happens with young players. Sometimes it's like a change of maybe they need to hear a different voice,
yeah.
uh, as for the coaching aspect of it. But I thought Hake should have been involved in the deal. I think he could have got more. I think they should have included some of the young
Terry.
players. But no one wants Terry, dude. I know you want to get rid of Terry, but no one wants him.
We give him up for salary dump. It's okay.
Yeah, it's Jason. Terry Rozier is one of those dudes, man, where he has to find the right situation, and it's usually a team that's tanking that doesn't really have a lot of hope, and you just let JT go out there. I mean, you just let Terry Rozier go out there and just ball out.
I
That's
also
how he shines.
I also think that his game is just so prehistoric now in this NBA. Like you can't be doing these dribble step backs and just like pounding the ball on the court for 15 seconds. Like that's not you're not James Harden, bro. You're not
I,
Dwayne Wade.
Hey,
You
I'll tell
know.
you what, his pickup games are probably highly entertaining.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he goes to the LA Fitness and he looks like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he probably drops
I'm
100.
positive. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm positive. I'm positive, man. But and when you get on a good team and you have to set you need to make plays. You need to score efficiently. It's not happening with this type of
You
play.
guys are
It is
stuck with him.
definitely
No
yeah,
one
and we're
wants him, dude. I bet you they try to move him.
unfortunately
No one wants him.
I, I don't know. It doesn't look
Hey,
like they're trying to move him at least right now.
I think Terry Rozier will be out of the league in 2 years.
Or maybe after his tenure with the Heat.
Before his prime is up, because he's in his prime right now. Before his prime is up, he would be out of the NBA. And that's sad to say, but you're right. His game does not adapt with most NBA teams. He's not, and this is very important, he's not a knockdown shooter.
No.
If Terry Rozier was a knockdown shooter, we're not having this conversation. He's valuable to a team, but he's not. His shot is way too inconsistent. He's not a point guard. He's not a shooting guard. What the fuck is he?
Yeah, he's
We
just
don't know
there.
what he is. He's just
Just
there.
there. Yeah. Just
But
there dribbling the ball.
for the record, you were super high on him coming in,
Fr-
dude. I did that.
After from his last season, I mean from last season, yeah, he looked really good last season before the neck injury. I think the neck injury messed up his equilibrium or something and he sees the basket everywhere. I mean, I don't understand, but I
How
mean,
fast the fucking did that turn around, dude? You got Heat Nation, man. They
uh,
will turn on you so fast, man.
I'm sorry. It's just it. It wouldn't bother me as much if he was making better decision making, but he just makes horror. I mean, I texted you during the game today. He just drove into Porzingis like he was
Yeah,
gonna.
Somebody on Twitter said, "Get this terrorist off my team."
Yeah, I mean, it's just come on, man. Like you're not gonna. He's like you're like 6 foot and he's 7'2". What do you I
You
don't know.
don't know what he's doing, man. But it's just the Jimmy the Jimmy-less Miami Heat are an interesting team. I don't think they're
I'm
going
with you on
anywhere.
that.
I don't think they're going anywhere this season, man. But it's definitely
Playing
an interesting
champs.
team, man.
We're the
Do
playing champs
do you see them making moves this off season, man? I mean, they have to make some moves, man.
for sure, for
Right?
sure. If you kind of look at the structure of the team, it kind of looks like the team's already set up for to include a big piece. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins isn't your piece to solve everything, but he's an addition for maybe a future addition that will work
But
well.
but that may set you guys back years
May.
because you were supposed to get back a player of the same caliber, if not higher, for Jimmy. That's the plan. You see, this happens all the time, right? A team signs a player in their prime, gets good 2 3 years out of them, and then they trade them to a team that's looking to win now, right? And they give up some few promising young pieces, right? You didn't get that for Jimmy Butler.
I
You
mean,
got Andrew Wiggins. We know, listen, at this point in time,
and
we
his
know
age
what
fits.
Andrew Wiggins is. Andrew Wiggins
Yeah,
is what he is. He's not going to give you much more than 20 a game. He's not clutch. Okay.
for
He
sure.
doesn't have that assassin in him, where he's gonna go out there and just rip your heart out. He's not that kind of player. He's a role player. He's a Harrison Barnes sort of guy. Really high coming in to college, a lot of hype coming into the NBA, and then they did nothing. So this is what Miami Heat got back for Jimmy. All you could do was hope that pick turns into something. Hope Wiggins, pops off for 2025 every other game, and hope that Davion Mitchell lives up to his name, because Davion Mitchell coming out of college at Baylor, I was really high on Davion Mitchell, and he just hasn't really found his spot. Maybe this is it. Maybe the
He has
Miami.
great defense, which
I
which
love
is
his
what
defense. I love his motor.
which
Uh,
which is what I think he's gonna fit so well here because that's
yeah,
they need a pesky defensive guard who's gonna stay after the ball after those type of those the Trey Youngs in the world or the Anthony Edwards of the world, players of those calibers. So I think even if he doesn't even score points, he's doing the right thing. But yes, I agree with you. He's got to produce at some type of production.
he has to. In order for this,
Yeah,
first of all, the Warriors won this trade. Let's be clear. They won the trade. Jimmy didn't want to be there, and they kind of forced him to. He kind of forced his way out. But how fast? Let's take a bet. How soon before Draymond Green doesn't punch Jimmy Butler in his face?
I think it's definitely
You see
coming.
those two in practice. Jimmy must be. Jimmy talks shit in a game, right? He's one of the big, the bigger trash talkers in the NBA. How soon before those two are fighting, and will we see footage?
We
Will
might see some.
footage?
We might see something in their play-in game this year
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, that's just
against the Houston Rockets.
yeah, dude. I mean, that's not gonna end well, man. Jimmy and Draymond is not gonna
it's
end well.
it's two like very polarizing personalities in one place. Yeah, I mean it could definitely implode at any second. That's a volcano ready to erupt.
Hey, Jimmy built his brand off of toughness, clutch, and grittiness, and the willingness to win. That's Jimmy's brand. That's the Heat culture. That he brought that, and the Warriors weren't just trading for Jimmy Butler, who wasn't performing to his potential these past 2 seasons. They were trading for the Jimmy brand, the playoff Jimmy, hoping you bring that with Steph Curry, whatever he has left. So that trade, they're making that trade was based off of we're getting Jimmy Butler. The people know the name. It's a new arena. Golden State gotta sell tickets. Jimmy Butler is a name people know and people associate winning with. He didn't win a championship, so I don't know how that really works. But the dude gives you his all. And he was giving his all up until a certain point with the Miami Heat. And I think the Warriors, that's their expectations of Jimmy Butler is, are we getting playoff Jimmy? If we get into the playoffs, can him and Steph do something special? I don't think they have the pieces to do it, but they can make it interesting. Are they better
Yeah.
than what they were before the trade? 100%.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins was giving them nothing. Jimmy wasn't giving Miami Heat nothing. So the trade worked out for both teams, but the Warriors won this trade because Jimmy looks motivated. And
Yeah.
the Celtics fan, I fucking hate a motivated Jimmy.
I was gonna say, wouldn't it be so funny to have a Celtics Golden State finals once again, and Jimmy is on the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, that would be crazy. That and then Jimmy, again, yeah, that would be crazy. But I don't see the Warriors even getting past a second round, to be honest with you, unless
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't.
had
I'm
to
with
make
you on that.
they had to make a
Yeah,
few trades at the trade deadline and give Steph some more help, but they're like one or two pieces away.
yeah. I think so too. They're an interesting team this year, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're making it down the line. Well, guys, that is the end for our podcast today. We will be having another episode soon later on this week. Great to see you guys, and peace and good night.
Good night.